Page 151. When I arrived the next day, I found that a new plan was in effect. Ishmael was no longer on the other side of the glass. What? He was on my side of it, sprawled on some cushions a few feet from my chair. I hadn't realized how important that sheet of glass had become to our relationship. To be honest, I felt a flutter of alarm in my stomach. His nearness and enormity disconcerted me. But without hesitating for more than a fraction of a second, I took my seat and gave him my usual nod of greeting. He nodded back, but I thought I glimpsed a look of wary speculation in his eyes, as if my proximity troubled him as much as his troubled me.
It's just like what other people like what people always say. Like a spider is more scared of you than you are of it. So like,
but taking that moment to say, and we've kind of talked about that too, like with the lions and stuff. Just because you walk in front of a lion doesn't mean he's going to eat you. We think that.
We think that because people fixate on the times that they do have, like the bad stories happen. That's what gets shared. But people won't just like say, I got close to a lion today and he didn't kill me. It's so crazy.
Right.
They only say, I got bit by a lion today.
There's probably 100 safaris that go through lion territory. And they're just kind of chilling, doing lion things, hanging out, right? When they could smoke the whole Jeep full of people. And they're like, eh. Now, I'm not going to go up and try to pet a lion. Just like those people who go up to Yellowstone and think that it's a good idea to try to pet the bison, and then the bison says, no, thank you. There's a difference between respecting it and being like, little head nod to each other. I see you. You see me. We respect our space, right? And saying, I'm a human, therefore I shall pet you. And the buffalo says, nay, nay. Mm-mm. No, sir. I am like 40 tons of power, okay? And I'm just going to smoke you. But that's also them setting out a boundary, right? Like, again, humans are very entitled and think, oh, that buffalo would love it if I snuggled them. My dog loves it. Surely that 4,000-pound buffalo, he just doesn't know that he's my friend yet. Right? Because they just think that very highly of themselves.
In reality, if you even get maybe like a foot away and start reaching, they'll...
Listen, I'm not even going to, I'm going to say, hey, sup, buffalo, and I'm going to keep walking and not make eye contact. I feel the same way about rattlesnakes, all of it. Like, you are powerful, and I am going to respect that, and I am but a human. Not going to go up to a bear, even though they are friend-shaped, and say, hey, we can be friends, because I think it's a trick. I think it's a trap. I think God himself said, watch this. I'm going to make these guys so cute, but so strong. It's going to be great, and humans are never going to be able to touch them. I can just see God laughing about that and be like, this is going to be really good.
You know what? Like, whenever you see a cute thing, you just want to, like...
Cuteness aggression!
Yeah, you just want to squeeze it.
Yes!
But then, the reason why I want to do it is because you see it, and it's too cute, and it's overloading your brain, so your brain automatically says, you need to destroy it. And so you just squeeze it. But then your brain doesn't think of it as like a squeeze to death. They think of it as like a squeeze of cuteness. But deep inside your brain, you're thinking, I need to kill this.
Because it's just making me feel too many feels?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, page 152. We got a little off track. Okay, before we go on, Ishmael said after a few moments, I want to clear up a misconception, and he held up a pad of drawing paper with a diagram on it. You see that diagram there, yeah? Give you a second to look at it. Not a particularly difficult visualization. It represents the storyline of the levers, he said. Yeah, I see. He added something and held it up again. Pew! This offshoot, beginning about 8000 BC, represents the storyline of the takers. Right. And what event does this represent? He asked, touching the point of the pencil to the dot labeled 8000 BC. The Agricultural Revolution. Did this event occur at a point in time or over a period of time? Alan says, well, I assume over a period of time. Then this dot at 8000 BC represents what? The beginning of the revolution. And Ishmael says, where shall I put the dot to show when it ended? I said witlessly, I don't really know. There it is. It must have lasted a couple thousand years. What event marked the end of the revolution? Here we go again. Alan says again, I don't know. Oh, he says it twice. I don't know that any particular event would have marked it. No popping champagne corks? I don't know. Okay, how many times? We're up to 4. Good Lord. Okay. And then Ishmael says, think. I thought, and after a while, I said, okay, it's strange that this isn't taught. I remember being taught about the agricultural revolution, but I don't remember this. Ishmael says, go on. It didn't end, it just spread it. It's been spreading ever since it began back there 10,000 years ago. It spread across this continent during the 18th and 19th centuries. It's still spreading across parts of New Zealand and Africa and South America today. Of course. So you see that your agricultural revolution is not an event like the Trojan War, isolated in the distant past and without direct relevance to our lives today. The work begun by those Neolithic farmers in the Near East has been carried forward from one generation to the next without a single break, right into the present moment. It's the foundation of your vast civilization today in exactly the same way that it was the foundation of the very first farming village. Yeah, I see that. Does he?
No. He's basically just saying, yes, I see that. So
he's saying, This should help you understand why the story you tell your children about the meaning of the world, about divine intentions in the world, and about the destiny of man is of such profound importance to the people of your culture. It's the manifesto of the revolution on which your culture is based. It's the repository of all your revolutionary doctrine and the definitive expression of your revolutionary spirit. It explains why the revolution was necessary and why it must be carried forward at any cost whatsoever. Yes, that's quite a thought. What's quite a thought, Alan?
Wait, so is he trying to say that the agricultural revolution was necessary, but the human revolution wasn't?
He is saying that the agricultural revolution was a thing that happened. Remember, Ishmael doesn't say anything is good or bad. He's saying this is a thing that happened, right? And then he's saying that takers attached so much importance to that agricultural revolution that it changed their course. It took them off the leaver's course and put them on a taker's course. You're scowling at me. I think you're trying to put things, and correct me if I'm wrong, into kind of a good and a bad category.
No, I just don't understand what this has to do with what we're talking about.
Let's keep reading and see. If it doesn't make sense by the end of 3, Viv, or starting to make sense, let's revisit, okay? Section 2. About 2,000 years ago, Ishmael went on, an event of exquisite irony occurred within your culture. The takers, or at least a very large segment of them, adopted as their own story a story that seemed to them pregnant with meaning and mystery. It came to them from a taker people in the Near East who had been telling it to their own children for countless generations. For so many generations that it had become a mystery even to them. Do you know why? Why it had become a mystery? No. It had become a mystery because those who first told the story, their ancient ancestors, were not takers but leavers. So that would be weird, right? It's 2 very different cultures. Leavers were telling a story and takers were trying to follow it, but it's starting to get kind of weird.
Because if you fixate on it, you're most likely to get it wrong. But if you just leave it be sometimes.
Well, and it's such a different story that it's starting to get difficult for the takers to understand it. And then they're going to put their own spin. So let's keep reading. Let's see. I sat there for a while blinking at him. Then I asked him if he'd mind running that past me again. About 2,000 years ago, the takers adopted as their own a story that had originated among leavers many centuries before. Okay, what's the irony in that? The irony is that it was a story that had been once told among leavers about the origins of the takers.
So now the takers are telling them about the origin of the leavers.
Kind of, yeah. And Alan says, so? He's so brilliant. The takers adopted as their own a leaver story about their origins. I'm afraid I just don't get it. Let's gasp. Are we surprised Alan doesn't get it? Oh my.
Yes.
Wow, Alan. What sort of story would a leaver people tell about the appearance of takers in the world? Well, God, I have no idea. Ishmael peered at me owlishly. You seem to have forgotten to take your brainy pill this morning. Never mind, I'll tell you a story of my own and then you'll see it. Okay. Ishmael shifted his mountainous bulk into a new position on his pillows, and I involuntarily closed my eyes, thinking, if a stranger were to open this door and walk in at this moment, what on earth would he think? Section 3. This is a very special knowledge you must have if you're going to rule the world, Ishmael said. I'm sure you realize that. Well, frankly, I've never thought about it. The takers possess this knowledge, of course, at least they imagine they do, and they're very, very proud of it. This is the most fundamental knowledge of all, and it's absolutely indispensable to those who would rule the world. And what do you suppose the takers find when they go among the leavers? Oh, guess what? I don't know what you mean. They find that leavers do not have this knowledge. Isn't that remarkable?
Crazy.
Go ahead and laugh about it. He says, I don't know. Again, what are we up to? Like 9?
Somebody needs to do that project where they do it. Says, I don't know in this book.
I am with Ishmael. He did not take his brainy pill.
That was what I was thinking.
Consider it. The takers have a knowledge that enables them to rule the world, and the leavers lack it. This is what the missionaries found wherever they went among the leavers. They were quite astonished themselves because they had the impression that this knowledge was virtually self-evident. Alan says, I don't even know what knowledge you're talking about. It's the knowledge that's needed to rule the world. Okay, but specifically what knowledge is that? You'll learn from the story. What I'm looking at right now is who has the knowledge. I've told you that the takers have it, and that makes sense, doesn't it? The takers are the rulers of the world, aren't they? Yes. And the leavers don't have it. And that too makes sense, doesn't it? I guess so. Now tell me this. Who else would have this knowledge beside the takers? I have no idea. He might as well have said, I don't know. Think mythologically. Okay, the gods would have it. Of course. And that's what my story is about. How the gods acquired the knowledge they needed to rule the world.